Co-op Bank results. Its profits have jumped about 16% and the company is eyeing expansion. Is that a good move at this current situation?
Well, I would say the banking industry in general behaves the way that the economy behaves. So I would say that cooperative bank results in themselves were pretty fair or modest, given that they were able to make a profit despite the current economic situation. So if they've been diversifying a lot of their loan portfolio, which I think is a good move. So I believe if they continue in the same trend of diversifying the type of products they offer, then they should have similar results, given the type of economic situation we're in as a country.
What do you think the bank should be doing in terms of keeping its profit margins up?
I would say they should just keep on with the trend they've been on, like diversifying their client base, diversifying their products. Because if you specify too much on one niche and that niche experiences problems in the economy, then you can get hurt. But what they've been doing is a good sign, and it shows in the type of profits they've been making.
Yeah, and now they want to expand into Sudan and Uganda. How exactly do you think the market will take to them?
Well, if they have a client base that they're targeting in those areas, like in Sudan and Uganda, then they should do fine. People require financial services, banking services pretty much anywhere in the world. So the key would be in finding a target base and providing services to that base.
How come Co-op Bank did better than the likes of Equity Bank and National Bank of Kenya?
Again, I would say it's because of the strategy they used. You see that they've used a lot of check-off banking. They focused on a lot of corporates as well, whereas before they were focusing on SMEs. So that move has brought in the type of profits that we've seen.
And what would you say is the outlook for Co-op Bank?
What is the
outlook for it?
I think it's bright. I think it's positive. I think they're heading in the right direction.
And take us through what the banking sector is like in Kenya at the moment. Is it faring better than it did in the first half of this year?
I would say it's fair. Most profits recorded thus far have been modest, but it's fair. And given that the banking sector is so closely linked to the economy, if the economy continues to improve, then the banking sector will continue to improve. So I think they've done fairly for this quarter.
All right, let's move over to Safaricom. We're hearing reports that it's considering share consolidation to cut the number of shares in the market. Why is that?
If we look at the case of Safaricom, it's unique in the number of shares that they release into the market. They released about 40 billion shares, which was, I would say, the biggest in maybe sub-Saharan Africa. So for them to want to consolidate, I would say makes sense because it will definitely improve the share price. It might also attract a new type of investor because a lot of retailers, a lot of first-time investors went into Safaricom. But now that people are a bit more educated on the market, are a bit more educated on the type of risks to take on long-term views, I would say consolidation would yield the type of results that they're looking for.
When you say they're looking for new investors, what are these kind of investors that they're looking for? What are they?
No, I would say in general, people like to speculate. They want to get in and make quick profit and get out. But in order to make lasting profit for the long term, then people need to maybe change that strategy. And there's been a lot of talk about that, like investor education and just giving people more options. Like speculation is one way to go, but you can also think about it long term. So if you can attract such investors as well, then that would be good for the share price.
We're looking at a scenario where Safaricom has been doing really well in the past few months, in the first half of this year. What's the outlook for it going forward?
I think it's going to do better. Just because people trust Safaricom, and Safaricom has been a profitable company, especially in Kenya it has recorded profits higher than most other companies. So I think, especially with this type of move that they're making, I think the outlook is bound to get better.